All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Mark of Balance. My name is Mark, and lucky you guys, the Padawan of ceremonies is back, and we'll promote her to Jedi Knight. She won't be Master yet, but she'll be a Jedi Knight of ceremonies.
That's so unfair. How can you be on the council and not a master?
Sorry, Anakin.
Whatever. I'm back, y'all.
Okay. And today we'll be continuing the series of my top 20 personal favorite Clone Wars episodes. Last episode we did 20 to 16, so today we will be doing 15 to 11. Math.
Golf clap.
Good for math. Good for math. And I'm really excited about these episodes because, obviously we're getting closer and closer to the top 5. So as we keep going, the more exciting they'll get.
Math.
That's okay.
As we keep going, we will eventually get closer to the top 5.
I was saying it as a thing. These reviews and these callbacks will be more and more passionate because they're my favorite episodes. So as we go up, passion shall rise. I would hope my 19th favorite episode doesn't really compete with how I talk about the 9th favorite episode.
All right.
So fair. These should be getting better.
Let's see the notched up passion as we get deeper into the Star Wars Clone Wars countdown.
Here we go.
Number 15? 15.
Yes,
15.
We will be starting with 15.
Let us start with 15.
So, Season 2. I know, surprising. Not Season 1 episode.
We've expanded past the first season, guys.
Funny enough, the whole list is Season 1 episodes.
Could you imagine?
I know.
The rest of the series is trash.
I'm a Season 1 enthusiast.
I stand Season 1.
Yes. So, Season 2, Episode 5, Landing at Point Rain. As a 10-year-old, this is all I wanted from the show. I just wanted the biggest, most insane battle sequences, and this Geonosis one lived up to the hype of the Geonosis attack in Attack of the Clones. That one was pretty crazy.
Yeah, this was the wars in the Clone Wars.
This put the wars in the Clone Wars. So this episode was super sick. It starts with this three-pronged attack. Obi-Wan has his battalion, Anakin has his own, and Ki-Adi-Mundi had another one. Obi-Wan goes down immediately, and he is injured.
Well, he's not the best strategist.
Yeah, so he was going right up the middle. He goes down immediately, so his battalion is just screwed, and we see our boys Waxer and Boyle again. Shout out to them. We get Anakin and Ahsoka on their own thing. They have to destroy this wall that Ahsoka says, we should worry about that wall. And Anakin's like, we'll never be near that wall. And then they end up being right next to that wall.
That's like the summation of Anakin and Ahsoka's like entire friendship is her being like, Master, isn't that kind of important? He goes, nah. And it's like, see, it was kind of important. Shut up,
He's
Snips.
like, shush, Snips. Exactly. And with Mundi, he's also gets shot off in a different direction, and he has to improvise with his group, and his group is full of flamethrower troopers, so they're just automatically sick. This episode's just awesome to watch. It's rewatchable because of how great the action is. It's tense because everything goes wrong. Nothing goes right.
Well, of course.
And
it also plays back to, like, classic Star Wars films, where whenever there's a really, like, when you get to the climax of the movie, it's never just one battle. It's usually, like, 2 or 3 battles happening simultaneously.
That's true,
like,
yeah. Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace, you have that. You have
Revenge of the Sith.
Well, you even have it in, like, Attack of the Clones. Like, the one that's not that popular. You have the battle on Geonosis in the Colosseum, but you also have Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting Dooku in their solo
and the clone
battle.
show up and all that.
Yeah, so I feel like the reason why this really affected you and, like, really stuck with you, possibly, is because it reminded you of what you love about Star Wars, these climactic moments of all these things happening at the same time.
Yeah, and you don't really, even though this is called Clone Wars, you don't really get a lot of these just all-out warfare battles. So when you do get them and they're done well, it sticks with you because, as I mentioned before, I was like 10 years old when this came out, and the only thing I wanted to see in the show was clones, action, all that. So obviously as I get older, I have a more nuanced taste in what I want out of episodes, but this one, definitely, for a 10-year-old, it was awesome, and I think anyone that grew up with Clone Wars would agree with me there. And I think something that was really nice about the episode is they did put in this little arc between all the Jedi Masters, like Anakin, Well, not really a master, but he is a master of Padawan.
I understand his pain, apparently, now.
Anakin and Ahsoka have this battle between them. They're like, I'm going to destroy more droids than you. And Obi-Wan keeps saying, oh, you guys are so silly for keeping count of destroying droids. Like, that's so childish. This is war. And by the end of the episode, they destroy the big relay tower. They get their mission done. And Mundi, who's this, like, super serious Jedi Master, you don't usually see crack jokes, he's like, 55. And they're like, excuse me? And they're like, 55. That's how many droids I destroyed. What do I win? And Anakin and Ahsoka just like, oh, he's kind of cool. And
it kind of reminds me of the Lord of the Rings when Gimli and Legolas have like
yeah.
Like
I'm sure that's what Dave Filoni
2,
meant.
3, 4.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what Dave Filoni's
and he
inspiration
takes down a
was.
giant elephant. And
That's gotta count.
Like, that still only counts as one.
Right. And then Anakin says, oh, you win my undying respect. And Mundi's like, oh. And Obi-Wan's like, oh, coming from Anakin, that's a big prize.
That literally almost never happens.
Exactly. So I thought that was a nice little thread throughout it. It keeps it fun, keeps it light.
That's just very like Dave Filoni style of humor.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't even know what to call it. Just like very friendly, like elbow bumping type of humor.
Hey, we just lost like 1,000 men, but it's fun, right?
55 drugs though.
Exactly.
Jesus, thousands of men?
Probably.
God, they're so glib.
What?
They're so glib.
I have no idea what that is.
Like casual, nonchalant?
I don't like that term. Next one.
Sorry for trying to like educate you. My bad. We're moving on to number 14.
And that's going to be the episode after the one I just mentioned, which I know is like a sin for top 20 lists. You can never usually do in the same arc. But season 2, episode 6, Weapons Factory, I think is a big moment for Ahsoka in the show.
That's why I'll allow it.
Exactly. I think this is necessary. Later on, you'll notice that I might have wanted to put another episode here in this position, but I said no. This show's about Ahsoka. We're sticking to this. And what I really like about this episode is you see 2 Padawans that have to go out on their own and figure out this mission when things go wrong. Mm-hmm. Are you going to say something now?
I was just going to say it's also interesting the Padawan that is in this episode.
Barriss Offee.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
starts that
trajectory that their characters parallel and eventually
someone goes
cross over and diverge. And
yes, it does lay the groundwork for future episodes, which is really cool between them. Mm-hmm. And you see Ahsoka and Barriss, kind of have to think on their feet without their masters. Their masters are another great, awesome battle. They're destroying.
I was going to say they're cut off from them because of.
Well, they have to go under the factory.
Yeah.
And Anakin and Luminara have to draw the droids out into a forward assault so they can sneak under. And that by itself is a cool battle sequence again. Back-to-back sick battle sequences. But you see Ahsoka and Barriss, come to this point where their bombs get taken away and they're like, we have to destroy this factory, but we don't have anything to destroy it with. And then they're like, oh, there's a tank. And they're like, well, we gotta go.
It was a good run.
Yeah. And they call Anakin and Luminara. They're like, we're not gonna be able to make it out. And Anakin's like, excuse me, what did you just say? And then there's this really cool shot where it's muted and it's just the music playing and the factory starts to get destroyed in like slow motion. Mm-hmm. And all the clones are like, oh my gosh. And it's a really epic moment. I think it's the first moment in the show where it's like actually epic. It pushes that more cinematic feel than a more of a TV show feel. And, seeing Ahsoka, like, sacrifice herself that early on is really cool. And then you see Anakin.
I also think it's a sign of her immaturity and her naivete. Like, because this is still season 2, right?
Oh, yeah.
So she's still, like, 13.
Yeah.
So for her, the idea of sacrificing her life and, like, getting the job done at all costs, like...
She thinks that's, like, the most
brave and strong.
Yeah.
And I think what you end up seeing later on is... And it's, I think, a lesson that you find reoccurring in multiple Star Wars media, which is the braver thing to do is to survive to fight another day.
Instead of just throwing yourself.
Yeah, like, it's one thing if there is no other option, like, rip.
Exactly.
But it's
my gosh, you can't say that. No. I'll cut that out. No, you cannot. Man. No, don't say that.
Damn it. All right, well,
sacrifice is a big part of
it. I'll be vague. It's one thing if you sacrifice yourself for the greater good and there really is no other option.
Exactly, yeah.
It's another thing if you're like, well, we have to destroy this factory. Like,
Promise. There's going to be more
You
factors.
can find another way to destroy the factory, but for them, they're like, no, we must go out in a blaze of glory, and it's the greatness of the Republic. And it's not really that. And that's probably why Anakin, for many other reasons, that's probably why in the moment he's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, you don't need to die right now. Yeah. And there's like, nope, we're doing it. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And it's really awesome to see how Anakin reacts and how you see these two different philosophies on how masters treat their students. Luminar is like, I'm prepared for her to die. She's kind of the old way of thinking of Jedi. Like, they think that, death, they just pass on.
Well, also the planet she comes from is very force sensitive and like...
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, some Star Wars lore for you. Okay. Little weeb info for you. But her planet, there are actually a lot of people on her planet tend to be trained as Jedi because their personal religion on their planet is very connected with the Force. So for her, like, it's also part of... Because Luminara's Barriss Offee, like, she's also very calm about, like, all right, it's time to go. Like, they just see it as a very detached kind of way, which is probably why they make good Jedi, because they're very detached.
That's what I'm saying.
They're ready to let go.
Yeah.
So for her, it's not that she wants her Padawan to die. It's not that she's like happy about it.
Yeah, she's just prepared for it.
Yeah, she's just naturally accepts it as the will of the Force.
And Anakin's like, I can't accept that.
The complete opposite.
Revenge of the Sith, he cannot accept it.
He literally cannot accept it. There is no growth.
Yeah, and so it is cool when, they're at the bottom and Barriss kind of, like her master, kind of just gave up, like, we'll probably run out of air before they find us. And Ahsoka's like, I'm not dying down here.
She's like, wait a second, I've had a change of heart. This is probably not the best idea. We're going to figure this out.
She's like, I'm not dying down here. And she's like, Anakin taught me this. And it's kind of cool that Anakin was the one to teach her how to get out of that and defy death.
You're not seeing my movements, people, but I'm making movements.
The little symbolism, little thing right there. And in the end, how's the episode end? I forget. No, Anakin says, look, see, I told you they're alive. And Luminar's like, I understand, but I'm prepared. And Anakin's like, nah, he just shrugs his shoulder and runs down to her.
Well, it also has two very different points of view on the Jedi in general. Like you were saying, she's old school. Yeah. Like, it's the will of the Force. It's not that you're happy, sad, or in the middle. It's just the will of the Force. Like, It's not within my power, so I'm not going to even be concerned about it. But Anakin, I think exactly what that she says is, but I'm prepared for my Padawan to leave. And
she say the same.
Yeah, and she doesn't even mean it in death. Like, at one point, your Padawan will grow beyond you and will become a Jedi of their own, and you can't protect them forever.
Right.
And part of Anakin's tragic flaw is he cannot let go. He cannot, like, even if it's for their own good, he cannot let them go. He has to protect them. And I think it kind of foreshadows their journey together, because he's constantly going to want to protect her, and she's going to eventually grow up to a point where he can't protect her anymore.
Exactly.
And that kind of culminates in...
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, so that's
That's Weapons
14.
Factory.
Yeah.
What is it, number 13? We're on number 13?
Number 13.
All right.
Season 3, Episode 21, Padawan Lost. Now, I would agree that a lot of people would say the episode after this is the stronger episode, because of the moment with Anakin and Ahsoka, coming together, and Ahsoka saying, "I survived because of your training."
Probably my favorite quote.
And
I was able
to lead others. Jen is mad that I didn't put hers in.
Because it's my favorite quote in the whole series. It's just, it's amazing. Anywho, talk about the moment that makes me shut up about why this is on the list instead of the one I want. Go.
Okay. I will.
I will do that.
Yes. So this episode, I would say when I first saw this episode in this arc, I don't think they really hit me as much. Because, as I said, I always watched it week to week. So when you saw this kidnapped arc, you're like, oh, okay,
another
whatever.
kidnapping
Yeah,
arc,
exactly.
yeah.
But when you are able to watch it the second or third time, you kind of get the weight and the gravity of it. Because when Ahsoka gets taken, first of all, they show Felucia, which is awesome. I that's an amazing planet. But Ahsoka gets captured. What's up?
Felucia. Which planet is that?
That's the one where Aayla Secura gets shot.
That is a really cool planet.
That's a cool planet, yeah.
Damn it.
So,
it's like being inside like a fish tank.
It is, without the fish.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
So yeah, Ahsoka gets taken by these Trandoshans, and then they're basically sent to this island for like blood sport. It's like the Hunger Games. Like they're literally dropped in this island,
Casino Royale. Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, yeah, and all these Trandoshans are just dropped in and they're hunted for sport. And since Ahsoka's this Torgruda and she's a Jedi, she's like super high valuable. Like if you take her down, it's like you've earned your stripes as a Trandoshan hunter. And yeah, it's pretty insane, right? And
hey kids, what do you want to watch this weekend?
yeah. And the best part about this episode is not just the environmental effects. Like I think this is the first time they really show this dirty, like her clothes are dirty, her face is dirty. She's always like she's actually like physically exhausted from running and sprinting around. They don't have her weapons or anything, and these guys are using like super advanced machinery. And she finds these other Padawans, and they're all just kind of like giving up. They're kind of just like sitting together, like we're just waiting to be rescued. We're waiting for the Republic to realize we're not here. And Ahsoka's like, you guys can't just wait here. They're never gonna find you. And they're kind of just like, well, do you really think you could do anything? And she's like, my master would never let me just sit here and do nothing. And what part of the episode that really strikes me is when they're starting out their plan to like figure out where this ship is, where they're dropping all these people off, and they go out, and one of the other Padawans that she began to get close with just gets shot out of nowhere.
So really, no pun intended. That's what really got you.
What? That the Padawan got shot?
I think you said something like the part that really like stunned me or something. I forget.
No, she didn't get stunned. She got shot. And it's so sudden, and the episode does a real good job of just making it sudden, not making it like be a moment. It's like really sudden, and she gets shot, and Ahsoka's just like, oh my gosh, like this Padawan just died because of my plan, because I wanted to escape. And then I think after that, she gets in this fight with the son of the main Trandoshan, and she kills him, and you hear this dad screaming at the top of his lungs like, you just killed my son, and the camera's just like pulling away from this tragedy that just happened. This Padawan just got killed, and this guy's son just died, and the camera just pulls away, and I think the episode kind of just ends there. And it's just kind of like, whoa. Like Ahsoka is going through the ringer right now.
Literally, yeah. And I mean, it also shows her, it kind of like reminds her of her mortality a little bit. Like, she is Ahsoka, her master
being
is
around Anakin, who defies death all the time.
Literally, and her master is Anakin. But on some level, like, there must have been a moment for her where she's like, I could actually die. Here. Like,
yeah, she doesn't know she has plot armor at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I think the character really
I know.
kind of got a flash of, maybe I don't have plot armor.
Right.
Like, maybe the fact that I am Anakin's Padawan isn't going to get me out of this.
Yeah. So, like, earlier in the show, you see Ahsoka put in charge of people, and people lose their lives under her command. But I think this one was really personal because it was other Jedi, and they looked to her as, like, the adult. And this is the first time, like, she's looked at as the adult. She's usually the little Padawan that's asking all the questions. Now she's the one calling the shots and being like, no, we have to do something about this.
And I think it's kind of sad, too, because I think this was kind of a loss of innocence for her as a character.
For sure, yeah.
Like you said, she's used to being the kid, and now she was surrounded by kids. And not only did she fail, but she kind of comes out of it realizing, like, I'm not a kid anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm not, like, these battles aren't fun anymore. Like, this isn't playing Jedi. Like, I am a Jedi. Like, and I feel like you can almost, like, hear it moving forward. There is a tonal change in the way Ashley Eckstein performs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was this episode, but I would
feel
say
like
it would make sense.
Yeah, I feel like when I remember that quote, it sounds lower than her usual, like, I got you, Sky Guy.
Yeah,
and now it just sounds like a little wiser.
Right. And that's what we love about these episodes is character evolution. And I think this episode really started that, even though honorable mention, the next episode could be interchangeable here, but Padawan Lost is my 13.
And then we do 12. Yep. Let's hear 12.
Number 12 is going to be season 2, episode 10, The Deserter,
which I'm going to say that when you were like, oh, what's going to happen in Bad Batch? I was like, I hope they bring back the Deserter. And you're like, I don't know, that might be and they literally do it in like the 3rd episode.
They did do it.
I would just like to say,
ha and ha.
I was right. Now you can talk about it.
There you go, Jen. Hope you're happy.
I am happy.
But the Deserter is a great clone episode. We see Captain Rex get injured, mortally injured, which, I mean, when he first got shot, I'm like, I've seen like 13 clones get shot there, and they've definitely died. So,
Yeah.
but
Quite literal plot armor.
But it is Captain Rex, and he is taken to this little farm, and what does he find there? A deserting clone with a family, and he's like, what the hell? And his beliefs get extremely tested here.
Oh, this is season 5.
Season 2.
Season 2. How long must the war be going on for him to have deserted at this point? Like,
not sure.
He must have like deserted right out the gate.
Well, you gotta think, like, I think by season 3, Ahsoka grows up like 2 years,
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's when she gets her outfit changed. That's
I
all
don't know.
I know.
He deserted, and you know, once again, we love stuff and episodes that expand our understanding of the galaxy. And here's the first time we see this clone make a conscious decision to leave the army because all of his brothers were killed around him, and he's like, "What am I even fighting for? Like, I don't believe in what the Republic. I was fighting for my brothers next to me, and without them, it's like."
Yeah, like
what am I fighting?
Whole existential crisis.
What am I fighting for? And I love seeing Rex try to come back with these super like indoctrinated statements, like,
well, it's kind of like what happened with Anakin when we were saying in the previous
kind of the
episode.
propaganda kind of thing. So yeah, he's kind of like, oh well, you know, I fight for the Republic. I believe in this cause. I do this and do that. And Cut's like, that's great. You can do that, but I believe in this cause. And Rex is like, I can't really argue with that, but I want to argue with that. Like, I know he's like, I know this is okay, but I don't want to believe it. And, you know, Rex is one of the main characters of the show. Like, his arc throughout the show becomes more prominent, and this is like a seminal episode for him to see this guy have his own beliefs that aren't clone beliefs, because Rex's arc in the show is basically going from a by-the-books clone captain to being able to see different perspectives and not follow orders harshly. And you'll see that obviously later when I talk about
degree, yeah.
When I talk about the Umbara arc, and obviously yes, Order 66. Obviously I'll talk about those later, but even in that arc in Umbara, you see Rex is still indoctrinated to this, like, no, we have to follow the order, and then eventually throughout that arc he's like, I think this is really cool because it plants that seed, like, not every order isn't always the correct order. And it's a really cool episode because you see this like fatherly figure with Cut Lawquane. This might have been the first good father in Star Wars before Mando, Cut Lawquane might have been the first good father we see.
They're like, we should probably prove that it is possible to be a good father in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and I think the home defense scene is really awesome.
That was cool.
When the home invasion like starts, like the commando droids start up, Cut Lawquane's like, okay, family, upstairs, get in the corner. Rex, you're the last line of defense. Here's a pistol. Protect my family with your life. And Rex is like, oh my god, this guy's fighting for something that's probably realer than what I'm fighting for. And then he goes downstairs and he takes on all these commander droids, and Rex ends up, you know, doing his duty and saving Cut's family, because Cut gets, I think, knocked out, or he gets distracted and they get upstairs. And in the end, Rex kind of says to him, he's like, I don't agree with it, but I understand, which is always important.
We do love that here at Mark of Balance.
We agree. We don't agree, but we understand.
I don't understand, but I get it.
Yes, and I think obviously the impact is felt because Cut got another episode and we got to see the family again. And yeah, this starts that whole lineage.
And he kind of teaches that same exact lesson to the Bad
Hunter.
Batch.
Hunter, yeah.
About the meaning of family and like that.
What are you really fighting for sure. And it was a good episode for Rex, you know, hitting the next evolution, or at least starting on the path of what his arc will become. So
Lots of seeds.
So yeah, number 12 was Deserter.
And the last of this segment is number 11.
Number 11. This one is going to be Season 3, Episode 2, ARC Troopers. ARC Troopers, another all-out battle episode, just like Landing at Point Rain, but there's a lot more substance to it. There's a lot more character moments in it. Obviously, 99, we see his untimely demise, just trying to be a good soldier, trying to do more than he has. He was a good soldier, and so I think Fives even says more than any of us.
Oh, because he's true. I love 99.
So, you know, aside from the cool battle, you know, obviously the droids are invading Kamino, which is, you that's home base for the clones. They're pissed. It's really like a home front war, which is cool. Geonosis, there's no connection to Geonosis. It's just like, we're going to that planet. This one, it's like, we're defending something here. We're fighting for our brothers. We're doing all this. And, this comes right after seeing them in the Clone Cadets. So you see Fives and Echo grow up, and they come back, and 99's like, where's Heavy? And they're like, Heavy died defending us. And he gives him the medal back, and he's like, well, how am I supposed to return this medal to Heavy? Because he gave 99 the medal.
There is at no point that you're not shedding major man tears during this episode.
Yeah, and
all parts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
is this one of the first episodes that is only clone?
No. There's a big portion of this episode that's Asajj Ventress. Their main goal is to get the clone DNA. So Asajj goes in, and Grievous obviously has another classic fight with Obi-Wan, just to be on the other side. But I really like Ventress and Anakin's battle because they fight, and then they get outside, and Ventress pushes Anakin down, and she pulls the clone DNA thing, and then a clone catches it, and the camera just comes out, and Asajj is like, "Wait, what a minute, what just happened?" And all the clones like come appearing, like they're taking ownership of their DNA, like they're defending it. It's not like the Jedi doing it for them, and I think that's one of my favorite shots in the show. Really, is the clone intervening, and then all these clones coming out. And Anakin's like, I'm prepared to just let them execute you right here. Like, we're just
Anakin's like, well, actually, you're right. This isn't even my fight. Go for it, guys.
Yeah, so I love when clones aren't useless, and I love when they're able to take their own agency and that kind of thing.
And they're respected. Like, they're not treated like droids. They're treated like people.
They can make a difference in a battle. Like, even if it's a lightsaber battle, they can be involved. Like, I think they see it from afar, and they're like, there's the general in one shot, and then the next scene they're fighting, and then they show up. Like, they made the concerted effort to be like, we have to go help the general.
They're quite literally on the same playing field as a Jedi in that moment.
And even in that moment, jumping into a Jedi fight, like, that's even more dangerous than jumping into, like, battle droid fighting, because there's force, and they're not even trained with that.
I was gonna say, like, that's going up against a known enemy, like guns and artillery, that's quite literally a battlefield you're trained for. But to go up against people who are using the Force and literally laser swords that cut through your armor, like, that's a completely different field, and it just also shows their bravery. Yeah. And just being like, our job is to defend our general, and we're going to do it, whether it's...
And our home, and our genetic care for more brothers to be made. And yeah, I really like that moment. And this is just for me, not really for you. You won't really have much to say about this, but the ARC Trooper design in this episode...
this is about you.
Exactly. With Colt, I forgot all their names, but I know one was Colt, and then the other two. I thought the ARC Trooper design in this episode was so cool, how they blended the Episode 3 helmets and the Episode 2 clone helmets, and had these new things called ARC Troopers. We'd just been hearing about them, but then you see them, and I just think the designs for them were so cool, and then you finally get to see Echo and Fives become those ARC Troopers later, but I thought their designs were really cool. The one yellow guy has like a white diamond cape, and this other guy has like blue stripe. Sick design. And
I was gonna say the art decorators are probably like,
they went hardcore.
This is all. Dave gave us all the budget, and we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah, and that was awesome. And there's one really cool shot in this episode where they shoot a rocket, and the camera travels with the rocket across the entire battlefield, and it takes out a ship. And it's such a sick... The camera's right in front of the rocket launcher, and then when it's shot, it catches it, and it goes all the way with it to the ship. And
wow.
It's really cool.
That's like an expensive shot to do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the amount of detail you have to
When I was watching with my roommates, they were like, that was a cool shot. I'm like, that was a cool shot. I guess I just took it for granted as a kid, but, you know, whenever the show tries new things with the camera angles, it's fun. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that episode.
And the honorable departure of Dear 99.
And yeah, that's such a tough scene because he wants to help. He wants to help in any way he can because he finally gets a chance to be in battle, and he overcompensates.
I was going to say, for the non-weebs who, like, have watched this all the time, like, 99 isn't... How do we...
Clone Force 99, yeah.
Well, we see Bad Batch and how they come out differently, but they're, like, revered for being different, and 99 did not
was a malfunction, really. He
malfunction,
wasn't...
And they didn't revere him, and they kind of made him a janitor because they're like, well, he's too expensive to dispose of.
Yep.
But
we can use him to
in
be
this way,
a
and
junk collector and stuff like that. Yeah.
It just shows that like the heart of a soldier is more powerful and stronger than what you may
ability.
Yeah. And like he was a soldier, whether it was him never going into battle or this, and I think that shows that like inside these clones isn't just their ability to perform on the battlefield, but there is this innate need to help, and there is this innate need to be brave and put themselves on the line for the people around them. And that, I think, is interesting because that's the part of him that didn't malfunction.
Oh.
And I think that's the part that was most distinctive about all the clones. I think they understood that when he did die. All of them surrounding him, they understood that was a huge loss. And I can't get over it. It's just so moving. Just like the whole
idea of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we see with the clones is they are constant, especially from like the Kamino point of view, and then we see like the extension of it in Bad Batch. Like they are a price. They are a product.
Right, exactly.
I mean, the whole point is seeing them beyond that, seeing them as soldiers, seeing them as people and individuals, but they are a product. And I think their journey throughout the entire story is them realizing that they're not a product and them taking control of that. And I think for this, seeing 99 as this malfunction product and like kind of...
You'd usually toss those away. Well, malfunctioning products.
I think it makes it more... I don't want to say clear, but I think it makes it a little haunting for the clones because in a weird way, they're treating 99 like a droid. You belong to us. You are property. You're worth money. And realizing that he is a clone just like them, like they don't see us differently. We just have value elsewhere.
Because, in a bunch of the Senate episodes, they talk about them like, we need to take bank loans to get more clones. Like, they don't say we need to recruit more. They're like, we need to buy more people. Yeah. We need to get loans to buy more people to throw at the enemy war machine. Like, I would agree. But 15 to 11.
Heavy.
Yeah,
no
heavy
pun intended.
Oh, man.
My bad.
We'll be talking about heavy later in the countdown for sure. But that was my 15 to 11. As I promised in the beginning, I hope there was a little bit of the, what'd you call it? I turned the notch up. I think I cranked it up a little.
A little up with the passion.
Okay. Yeah. I would never lie to you guys. So I was just trying to make sure I came through with the promise that as we get in.
We're very passionate about these episodes. A little more than the beginning ones.
Excellent.
And that means the next series.
Oh my gosh.
So much.
Yeah. It's going to be so in your face. It's going to be unbelievable.
We're just going to be screaming like WWE at the mic.
Yeah, the top 5, I wouldn't even listen because it's just going to be absurdly yelling.
It's just going to be yelling. I love this episode.
Yeah, it's just going to be inaudible yelling about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I hope you enjoyed. Once again, this is something I've wanted to do for a while. 25 episodes in, so this is really fun for me, and I'm glad Jen is here to relish the moment and add her 2 cents to it, because we did used to watch a bunch of the episodes together. And that's where we're on today. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time with 10 through 6. Yeah,
Whoa,
I think I got that right. I think I got that right on the
6.
math. Yeah, I think I got that right on the math. So
You did right on the math.
We'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Force be with you.